Hi folks, welcome back to the Pharaoh Bob Show. So today we're going to be unpacking the first meeting between President-elect Donald J. Trump and outgoing President Barack Obama. So these two have never actually they've never actually met before. So which I found that was a little bit strange. When I was researching over this thing, I thought they would have bumped into each other at various functions. They're moving in possibly similar political sort of circles in Washington, but no, they've never. Or they've been at the. I think they've been at the same place. They've been at the same functions, but they've never actually physically met. And over the last 5 years or so, they've traded a lot of barbs, sort of between each other. And so today is that kind of extremely awkward meeting of the incoming president versus the meeting with the outgoing president. I'm sure that President Obama was really hoping that Hillary Clinton was going to be sitting opposite him, but that just hasn't been the case. So we have President-elect Donald J. Trump and sitting down with President Obama, and it's all very cordial. It's all very shaking hands in front of the cameras. I wonder if before they actually came into this room in front of, there's probably 20 cameras sitting in this room. So I wonder if they got a chance to just talk without the cameras around. That would have been, I think that would have been, maybe that would have been a good way to break the ice before they come, or maybe this is the first time they've actually met on camera. So let's just roll through and let's just unpack this.
Civility, but barely a smile at the White House.
We now are going to want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds.
What a great approach there from President Obama. We mightn't agree on all of Obama's policies, but I think he's a classy guy. I think he's fairly cool. He's got a lot more grey hair since he's been in the White House, but I wonder if Donald's hair goes grey. I mean, I don't know what colour it is now. He probably got some kind of rinse going through it, but I think this is a good tone. A successful Trump presidency, kind of whatever that looks like, means it's good for the country. So Obama, this is a really good as the headline there says, a cordial tone, but it's a smart political tone as well, because it really places Obama above politics. So he's saying I want what's best for the country. So we will support you as president because this is what is actually best for the country. So it kind of like lifts Obama a little bit higher above the petty politics. So this is a really good approach from Obama, and just showing what sort of a classy president he is.
Please.
Well, thank you very much, President Obama. This was a meeting that was going to last for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and we were just going to get to know each other. We had never met each other. I have great respect.
An extraordinary show of cordiality, considering that less than 72 hours earlier, President Obama painted Donald Trump as being unhinged.
Donald Trump is temperamentally unfit to be commander-in-chief.
If your closest advisors don't trust you to tweet, how can you trust them with the nuclear codes?
They always keep going back to the nuclear codes. President has the nuclear codes, as if there's actually like the big red button on the desk that the president can lean over and just bang, and there goes 54 nukes to whatever direction. And the process is a lot more complicated than that, and the president does not have he does not know the nuclear codes. So I hear a lot about the nuclear codes, but when you really look into it, it is a little bit more involved than just having a big red button on the desk or knowing the nuclear codes before a president can actually release a nuclear weapon.
That was the night before the entire political landscape was altered. In the heat of the campaign, Trump has taken his own personal shots.
Barack Obama, number one, is incompetent.
He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS.
Now, that was pretty... I don't know, I'd probably going to put that in the ridiculous claim... in the ridiculous claim column. Now, if you really want it, you could also almost spend an hour just unpacking this. So where Donald Trump is sort of getting at here, calling Barack Obama the founder of ISIS, what he's saying, if I can just say this really quickly, is that the State Department allowed nations like Qatar and Saudi Arabia to basically to fund ISIS through the sale of about $80 billion worth of weapons from they approved the sale of $80 billion worth of weapons to Saudi Arabia and Qatar, which they knew was actually going to support ISIS, which ISIS at that time was actually fighting against Assad. So ISIS was like a proxy army that the State Department was officially supporting through Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So you probably need a whiteboard to actually understand that. This was revealed in the John Podesta WikiLeaks emails that they knew that the ISIS was being supported by Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So Donald Trump has kind of drawn this. His theory is going back that the State Department or the Obama administration is therefore essentially responsible for the foundation of ISIS, which is an extremely long bow to draw, but you know there's some connections there that can be made between the State Department and the sale of weapons to Qatar and the weapons to Saudi Arabia, which were funding ISIS as a proxy army to fight Assad in Syria. So yeah, that's kind of how all that kind of ties in there.
The barbs seemingly never let up. Trump tweeting in early August, President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States. It drew this response from the president on ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
The intensely personal vitriol between Obama and Trump extends back at least 5 years, when Trump led the charge of the birther movement,
that was a good
questioning
burn.
whether the president was born in the U.S.
Kind of true that Trump really did. He wasn't the start of the birther movement. If you want to go back to where the birther movement actually originated, I think you would find it originated in the kind of like the alt-right sections of the internet. Maybe it's a sort of shadier conspiracy circles of the internet. So that's where the idea probably originated from. And then it's an idea that just caught Donald Trump's attention. So he's not like the founder of the birther movement, but he kind of came into the birther movement pretty late. I remember following the birther movement just with interest. So Trump came into the birther movement, if it is a movement, but he came into the birther conspiracy pretty late. But he just gave that whole thing like oxygen to a fire, and it just went amazing. So, and yeah, because Trump kind of threw his hat into the birther circle, conspiracy circle, forced President Obama to actually release the long-form birth certificate, which kind of asked the question, well, why didn't he release the long-form birth certificate like way back and just nip the whole thing in the bud? So, yeah, that was all a very strange time back then.
Why doesn't he show his birth certificate?
After President
Yeah, that was actually a fairly valid question. Trump is out there hammering Barack Obama. Why isn't he showing the birth certificate? Why aren't you showing the birth certificate? And eventually Obama came out and actually showed the birth certificate. And then you had the whole, but the birth certificates are fake people kind of came out. And no matter what Obama did, they had apparently Photoshop experts who would analyze the birth certificate, and it had all these layers on it. I don't really understand all that kind of stuff. But apparently Obama's long-form birth certificate was actually a fake, according to these people, which you're never going to please them.
Obama finally produced a long-form birth certificate. He used it as ammunition for some acid-laced one-liners about Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner a few weeks later.
Well,
We can
fair's
finally
fair.
get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell?
Well, Roswell.
And where are Biggie and Tupac?
Just a few feet away, Trump simply stared, unsmiling. Some have
You gotta look at
suggested
the
it was
glare
this
on
moment
Trump's
that spurred
face.
Donald Trump to run for president.
Yeah, that could have been. That
His
could have been the
part,
moment.
observers say
You don't
President
know.
Obama has been more than irritated with that whole experience.
I think it wounded him. I think it really enraged his wife, and she's mentioned that before in public. In fact, she did so on the campaign trail in the final weeks of this race. You can be sure that that was on President Obama's mind. It was probably on President-elect Trump's mind when they were talking there.
So yes, here we have. So wrapping up the episode today. Here we have the two president-elect and the president meeting for the first time, doing the whole awkward handshake. Donald Trump looks like he's thinking about lunch there, and President Obama is trying to lift himself above politics, and he's saying we're here to support you because by supporting you and supporting your presidency, we are doing what's best for the country, which is a classy move, but very much a politically shrewd and a correct move as well. So I've always been fascinated when the two leaders come together. And even in this time around, generally presidents, the outgoing president, when he's done his 2 terms, he's maybe not as involved in the campaign as this time, but the Hillary campaign brought out Obama and Michelle just as the big guns, probably even bigger than Jay-Z and Beyonce. So Obama and Michelle were probably were very heavily used by the Clinton campaign. Not used in a bad way, but just utilized by the Clinton campaign. So I think that Obama probably had a little bit more skin in this game than maybe existing presidents who had finished their term. Yes, but no doubt an awkward but necessary kind of a civil meeting between the incoming president and the outgoing president. With Obama showing that he's a pretty classy guy. So yes, I'd like to thank you for watching this video if you've made it this far. So if you'd like to support the channel, hit that subscribe button down below, tap the like and or the dislike button, leave me a few comments, and let me know if you like the format of the show, or if you think there's anything I can change, anything I can improve. This show is in its infancy, so we're just like one little cell, and we're just going to try and keep on multiplying that cell. So yes, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Okay, Pharaoh Bob out.